Hey guys, so I'm just doing a quick live stream really quickly because I go to school in a little bit, but oh, excuse me. Wow. I just want to do this really quick before I went to class. I'm still recovering from a cold, so I'm sorry if I choke like I just did again, or I'm sniffling, or absolutely whatever. It happens. I'm trying not to die, but no guarantees or anything. Okay, so let me just kind of get my computer set up here real quick. For most of the books that I have, as far as like my favorites for 2017, I don't actually have with me. I only have two. The other three are back home in Seattle because I read them at the beginning of the year. If you want to say hello, there's a Tango. I have a plate on my bed, and he wants to check it out. Tango. Whatever. Anyways, feel free to comment on the chat and stuff. I will try, and respond. And if you have any questions. Oh, there he is. Look at this sweet child. I love him. He's being such a chum, and he's being such a good boy. But okay, otherwise, favorite books of 2017. So I'm going to pretty much go ahead and talk about them in order. They are my only 5-star rated books for the year, which is surprising that I didn't really rate that many as 5-star. But like for me to give any book a 5-star rating, it has to be like, it was awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I absolutely loved it. It did no wrong. You know what I mean? Like, it really has to kind of be there. If I read it and I was like, yeah, I really liked it, then it's automatically a 4. It only gets a 5 if I'm like, like mind blown kind of stuff. So yeah, otherwise, let's go ahead and start talking about them. So my first book that I'm going to mention is the first 5-star read of 2017 was Jane Steele by Lindsay Fay. Now, obviously, I don't have it here. You can see it's this one. You can check it out on Goodreads. It is an amazing book. It's a literary retelling of Jane Eyre and how instead of her being like a governess and stuff, like she still goes through all the motions and does everything, but instead she's a murderess. So it starts off with, reader, I murdered him. And you're just like, oh, whoa, what? And it's super awesome. And it literally retells the entire story, but how certain things are changed and she ends up murdering a couple people here and there. But it's really awesome. And it's not like super dark or super intense or anything, but it's still like a lot of fun because I really like her character. Like in the original, obviously, if you read Jane Eyre, it's like, obviously, such old literature and British literature that sometimes it can get like really, I don't even know what's the word, not fluffy, but like there's just a lot that's going on. Whereas in this book, obviously it's cut down way more and you really get a better sense of, and she's pretty spunky. And I actually really, really like that. So I really, really enjoyed that book. If you've read Jane Eyre and you are interested in a retelling, I highly, highly recommend it. It's so good, and I loved it. Now, that's a really cool cover. The other one on paperback, it's actually in a blue cover. It should still be on the shelves, I believe, at Barnes & Noble. Otherwise, of course, you get it on Amazon. You get it on Book Depository or Book Outlet. However you want to go about getting it, you can get it. I freaking love that. And you know what? This year was kind of a year for retellings. I don't know. Second book. Let's see. The second book was This Phenomenal Life: The Amazing Ways We Are Connected Connected with Our Universe by Misha Blaze. Now, this is a really cool little tiny book. Just a little tiny science book. It's like $15. I picked it up at Barnes & Noble, just kind of like on a whim. I don't even know why. But it's really focused on the illustrations, some really cool illustrations, while also giving you all this scientific fact and kind of like spiritualistic view of the universe and ourselves and our place in it. And it has a lot of modern calligraphy, so it really focuses on the artwork, the type, and overall how it's all like interconnecting to then give you the message of like what it is. And I actually really liked it. It's, again, really small. Obviously, it's a little small hardcover, so again, $15 might, you know, a lot of people might not want to spend on something like that. But for whatever reason, I was like super down for it, and I actually really, really liked it because, you know, at the end of the day, I'm agnostic. I don't believe in a name of what is out there, but I do believe something is there, you know? Like, I just don't want to give it a name. I don't want to fall into any organized belief system. That's kind of where I go. And this book kind of really kind of takes that stance in how it's like, well, you are made of star stuff, you know, from and how, yeah, it's just like how you're connected to it. And it takes on just a really cool view of the world and yourself. And I just really liked it. So I'm really happy I picked that up. So definitely, if you want or if you can, check that out. Let's see. The next one that I had was Hearthstone by L. Catherine White. Now, I love this book. It's a Pride and Prejudice retelling, oh, but it's sci-fi, fantasy. It's got like dragons, and so like pretty much what happens is Elizabeth Bennet and her family, they're peasants as they are. There's nothing really special about them and their family, but like the wealthy in this world, in this setting, they become like, if you've ever seen like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, I think I made this comparison in my video when I talked about it earlier in the year. It's kind of like that, like the wealthy take on a more like militaristic role in society, in which case in this world, they are like dragon riders and they protect the lands, and pretty much how Mr. Bingley and Mr. Darcy come into Longbourn and everything is because they need a dragon rider to protect their city and their land. Otherwise, again, it's just Pride and Prejudice retold in a new setting with a lot of fun stuff. Again, the banter's there, the writing was great, the world building I thought was really good, and just give me anything Pride and Prejudice, and I want it. Like, I know there's so many other Pride and Prejudice retellings out there that I haven't touched on. There's a couple in YA that I've heard about, but again, I'm like, about YA. So I haven't touched them, but I still really want to read them because I'm so down for any sort of Pride and Prejudice retelling. So if you have any suggestions, I will gladly take them. I love Pride and Prejudice, and that book was great. I highly, highly recommend it. Let's see. Then the next book that I had as a 5-star rating was On the Other Side by Carrie Hope Fletcher. Carrie Hope Fletcher, pretty popular YouTuber from the UK, younger sister of Tom Fletcher, who was part of McFly, pretty popular band. Okay. That's pretty much how I heard about her, was through her brother, but I've been following her for so long. She's one of my favorite people, one of my favorite YouTubers. She's just a wonderful human being, and I just really wanted to support her, you know, and I feel like it's one of those things where I don't know if I've ever talked about this, like with YouTubers and getting like book contracts, it kind of pisses me off. On one hand, if it's like, oh, you're a YouTuber, let's give you a biography. Because, you know, a lot of YouTubers have come out with, like, biographies and, like, crap. And, like, But it's like, but if you actually get the opportunity to write a book, like book deal, I would rather support that than your life story. These YouTubers obviously are really young, and I'm just like, you know what? I just feel like you don't really have much to say for like what's been going on in life so far, but you know, hey, I get it. People will spend the money on it, so it's totally understandable. I get it. But anyways, ending of that rant, coming back to this, I really wanted to support Carrie because I really love her. I love her channel. I love her content, and I figured she'd probably come out with something really cool. And so this one definitely follows kind of like my love for historical fiction romance, with an added like time travel, supernatural something or other is going on, you know what I mean? So Susanna Kearsley, my favorite author, that's like her formula. So this one kind of takes on that role as well. And so it's just like, it's right up my alley. And I actually really, really, really enjoyed it. I thought she did really well. She's actually has a really nice voice to her writing. And it's like, it's pretty eloquent, in my opinion. You know, I've seen videos of people who really didn't like this book, but obviously apples and pears, you know, whatevs. So, but yeah, so this one, it's about a woman named Evie Snow who is at the end of her life, right? And she pretty much is passing on. She's dying and she's in limbo or whatever. And they're like, oh, well, you can't move on because you have unfinished business. And she's like, what the hell? And they're just like, oh, well, you know, you never got to like find real legit closure with your first love that she never had. You know, they broke off for whatever reason. And so they're like, you need to go back and you need to like find that closure so you can move on. So goes into the past and she relives her younger days at the age, I think she's like 26 or something, 27. And from the beginning of when she first met her first love and like going through that and like what happened and just like coming to terms with it in a different way before she can move on. And I thought it was really cute and really, really well written. I really liked the way the events worked out. I just really liked the overall progression. I thought it was done really well. So I loved it. This I'm pretty sure I had to buy on Book Depository. I think I did. Obviously, it's sold in the UK. It's not legitimately sold in the USA. You might be able to special request it, like if you go to Barnes & Noble. I know I could do that with Giovanna Fletcher, her sister-in-law. I've done that. Your best bet is Book Depository. Obviously, free shipping and super cheap and stuff. So this one, I just thought it was super cute, you know? And lastly, my last 5-star rating for 2017 is this guy, Brownies and Broomsticks by Bailey Cates. I read this a couple months ago, and I was actually really surprised by it. This is like my first attempt at a cozy mysteries book. Cozy mysteries. When I was working at Barnes & Noble, we had this game, at least at our store, that every time you got a membership, right up at the front or whatever, you would intercom over the radio, whatever, and you'd be like, attention Barnes & Noble employees. And then you'd be like, Alexis, obviously myself, Alexis, and then you would call out a area in the store, and then somebody else would have to go to the area and find a title and be like, thank you, Alexis, blah, 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 blah. And I would always do cozy mysteries. My roommate came home. And I would always do cozy mysteries because they always have just like the weirdest names and they're like super punny and kind of dumb, but my favorite genre. But I had never actually read anything. So yeah, I was just like, you know, I was in a mood for like a witchy bakery because that's like a pretty common trope in a lot of books. Witchy bakery, drama, romance, something or other going on kind of book. That wasn't going to be like too intense. I didn't want a really long series. I didn't want to step into something that was going to continue on for very long. Something that's just be easy to get through. That just like gave me what I needed in the moment. And for whatever reason, I was on Goodreads and I was searching and then I found this one. So this one showed up and I was actually really, really happy with it. I actually really, really like this. It's about a woman named Katie Lightfoot who her engagement gets called off and she's like, screw this, I don't want to stay here. So her aunt and uncle who are opening a bakery in Georgia are like, why don't you just come over? You could like help us start our business. We'll take care of you, you know, like that way you can get away, you can like reset. And so she's like, yes, I'm doing it. So then she goes over there and it just so happens on the day that they open the bakery, whoa, lo and behold, an old woman dies like right outside of the shop. Just so happened that same woman had an argument with her uncle inside. A lot of people witnessed it, so they're like, oh, your uncle totally is the one who murdered her, like totally. You know, because like I think she died of like a broken neck or something like in her car, so it's like obviously foul play was involved. But yeah, so then it's like she finds out that her aunt is actually a witch, and like her aunt's friends have their own like little coven thing, and how like she has this innate ability to practice magic, and so she starts kind of learning and wanting to get more involved. That way she can find a way to help her uncle and like clear his name from any wrongdoing. And I thought it was really cute. I really liked it. I liked the little murder mystery going on. They talk a lot about bakery, baking goods and stuff, and I like baking, and that's fun. And then it introduces some romancy things that don't really get explored in here, but you know they're going to get explored within the series, like as it continues. And with this, I bought the second book already. I just still haven't have yet to read it. I'll get to it eventually. It's on my shelf. I'll get there. But yeah, so I'm just like excited for what's to happen, and I just really enjoyed what was going on in here. So I was pretty happy that I picked this up. So I gave this one a 5-star because it was like, obviously it was what I was really in the mood for, and it just totally hit the spot. So I was like, yes. So gave that 5 stars. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. That's all I gotta say for 2017 of my favorite books. Everything else I pretty much gave a 4-star. I think my lowest rating, if I look at Goodreads, was a 2. But otherwise everything else, it was like a 3 or a 4. And I mean, they're all great. There's nothing that I read this year except for my 2-star rating that I did not like enjoy. You know what I mean? So it was, in my opinion, kind of surprising that I didn't really give anything else a 5-star. But no big deal. Otherwise, yes, I think that's about it. I have to get ready for school now, so this is perfect timing. Excuse me. Again, still recovering from this stupid cold. Otherwise, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions or comments or anything, go ahead and leave them for me. I didn't see anything come up on the live chat, so I don't know if anybody's been saying anything. No, I don't see anything. But otherwise, you know, leave comments down below of like what your favorites were for 2017. I'd really like to know. Because as much as I don't need to buy any more books, I'd like to know what you guys are reading. That way maybe I could get some other ideas. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. And otherwise, I will check you guys out later. Thanks. Bye. Okay, stop it. Ooh.